Welcome to the InStory Show. I'm Devorah Spilman, your host, and today I am thrilled to welcome InStory expert Ana Sumner. Hi, Ana.
Hello there. It's good to be here, Devorah.
I'm so excited you're here. So Ana is an artist, a creativity mentor, and the founder of a program called Soul Creatives. And we're going to start kind of in reverse because we're really going to take you today really into a whole nother avenue of what does it take to come out of hiding and be seen. So Ana is already doing that abundantly, and so we're going to start from the moment as opposed to start from the past, because I know you just came back from presenting for having, I think, 2 of your quilts showing in the International Quilt Festival. So tell us a little bit about that. Start at the end instead of the beginning.
I'm really excited that I got invited to participate in one of the exhibits. It's called A Better World, and it was highlighting heroes that are doing or have done great things in the world. And so I highlighted Chasing Coral, which was a group that is actually helping our ocean reefs in the plight that they're going through with bleaching. And they're actually created a movie called Chasing Coral, if anybody wants to see it. The other quilt that I have and I did an ocean reef quilt for that exhibit, and I'm really excited about it, and that it's going around the country sharing that story. The other quilt is that I created, I decided to participate in the Cherrywood Challenge, and it was about Bob Ross, who was very instrumental in getting art into the household through television. So my quilt was depicting some of his art. So those were 2 great exhibitions that I was a part of, and glad that I got to participate in them.
You know what I, as a storyteller, love so much is that this is the intersection of art and story.
Oh, correct. It is. And that's why I love art, because it has a story behind it.
But so often I think a lot of artists don't tell the story of their art necessarily, and not that you always have to, but like the fact that the purpose of your art was to illuminate a story, I just...
Exactly. And art is about the story. Most people don't realize they focus on what's on the canvas or what you're seeing, but more and more, if you really look at art, it has a story to tell us. Artists create art because they're trying to share a bit of the way they see the world. And it's exciting to me to be part of art for that reason.
Well, so I would love for you to say a little bit more about the intersection between story and art, because I think it's like the story of the piece of art, but often, like I'll talk about with storytelling the story of the story, but often I think artists fail to share the story of the piece of art, like how it came to be.
I was excited that I had an opportunity to share about the ocean reefs, because they're dear to me. I grew up 6 years of my life in Florida near the ocean, and I remember swimming, and there was a reef right there, not too far from the beach. And so we swam right into and saw the fish, and it was a part of me that I enjoyed as a child. And so when I first started creating art, it came out that I love the beach and I love the ocean. And I was excited about portraying that. And that came out in a crazy quilt. And then it kind of exploded into what the art I do now.
Okay, so then you have to take us back now. The thing I want to say is that you are still showing that passion you had as a kid, that it actually has come out in your work, like your passion for we didn't talk about that really.
So what happened was I really didn't realize that I had this passion until in my 40s, I decided to explore art. I always wanted to, and finally I had the opportunity in my 40s to do so. And I took some watercolor classes, took some quilting classes, but I'm not really mathematical challenged that well, and there's a lot of math in quilts, but it was through a class that was offered in crazy quilts that I go, wow, that's really cool. There was no sense to a crazy quilt. It's patchworks of going in a lot of different directions and a lot of embellishment, and that interests me. And so I went ahead and joined the class, and the teacher was sharing about the fibers, but the thing that got me was, and it was her moment of genius, was when she said, go create something with all this supplies. And I was like, really? I had never had anybody tell me to go create something without a pattern or direction. And it kind of shocked me. It kind of like, I can do this? And I was really frightened about it, but I go, I got to do it because I'm going to take this challenge. I was determined. And I ended up creating a little ocean with a sailboat, a beach, and an ocean reef around it. And I was so shocked that I did that, that it opened a whole avenue to my creativity that I didn't know was there.
Why do you think that, why is that, do you think?
I really find that a lot of times we are not challenged to explore our own creativity. We're given the ideas, we're told what to do, and we're told to follow them. But many times we forget to say, here, try, this is the supplies, here's some of the tools, try seeing what comes out of yourself with that. We're not told that.
So talk a little bit more about what happens when you mentor someone to tap into their creativity. Like, where do people get stuck and how do you get out of that? Right? Because I think that's what you're talking about is, you know, like you loved art classes when you were a kid, but it was always a make this instruction,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So I want you to talk about that a little bit, both in art, but in your, like in the person, like how we get, you know, this whole thing is about coming out of hiding.
Well, I think the best way that I tend to share that is that we're a whole person. We have a right brain and a left brain. A lot of us have been taught how to be creative in our left brain. Our left brain tells us, find a pattern, do this, follow the pattern, and basically everything's given to us. Our right brain helps us to, our right brain is extremely creative. It's the one that goes exploring, the one that challenges you to do something that you may not be comfortable with. And so what I found, that if I combine both my right brain and my left brain and encourage people to balance it, you know, I bring that to the table in mentorship to say, look, this is wonderful. It's okay that you follow a pattern. It's okay that you do this. But why don't you bring a little challenge to yourself, like change it up, or bring something new to the table that might frighten you a little bit, but may bring something wonderful of yourself that you didn't know was there. So I enjoy that balance, and I try to teach that balance to people.
So take us a little more into this process of moving, like how did you start to move yourself forward? Like you had this class, right? And
Correct.
you created something, but then how come you didn't just go back to your old everything else you used to do? You know what I mean?
Well,
like, oh, that was a cute class, great, see ya.
and it's true. How many, I find that I've taken a lot of classes that, oh, that was nice. And then it didn't hold. It didn't sink into my soul. But this particular class opened a part of me that had been shut for 40 years, really. It actually inspired me to say, I want more. I want to explore more of it. I want to try it in a different way. What else can I do? It also opened up the way I saw the world. I started looking at nature to inspire me to say, what can I create next? I've done the ocean. Now what else do I like? And found that I love trees and I love flowers. And oh my, how can I express this? One of the things that the class included was silk ribbon embroidery. And then I found that, oh, I love this silk. I love the colors. I love, what can I do with it? How can I inspire to create nature with it? And so it wouldn't stop. I was like, it literally grabbed hold of me. And sometimes you have to take a lot of different classes and do a lot of different things to get to that place where the creative part of you grabs hold of something outside of you, like maybe watercolors, maybe, you know, for me it was fiber art, but maybe for you is photograph, you know? So there's so many avenues that can happen, but you have to let it open. You have to find the way to open it and let it out.
So say a couple more things about what helps people to open that up. You know, I mean, and even being here on this interview, being part of InStory, like what are some of how has that helped you, and what else do you find helps people?
I find that the best way to start letting that out is actually taking action and either talking to your friends about what you're interested in doing, or going one step further and creating something and then showing it to a friend. Don't just keep it to yourself, because when you keep it to yourself, you're saying, I don't want to be rejected. And sometimes you need to show it. And, you know, your friends are kind. They will say, oh, that's wonderful. It's funny, when I started getting myself out there, I found that a lot of people go, wow, that's wonderful. But a few would go, oh, or don't like it, or go, well, your perspective is all off, or this. And it hurt. It hurts to be rejected. But at the same time, I found, well, I had 5 people like it and I had 3 reject it. Okay, I like the 5. I'm going that way. And I kept doing it. I realized that rejection was part, because not everybody likes what you do. Not everybody will. But the fact that I got myself out there, the fact that I tried, the fact that I got over that fear and exposed myself gave me something back, instead of holding it on and living in unknown. So I find that go take the steps, you know, make an effort. If you don't know how, that's why we have these creative mentorships. I can help you.
No, 100%. Like, there's no rule that we're supposed to do this alone. And, you know, I love what you said, if you make something, to share it with someone. So we're going to challenge you to make a piece of art and share it in our Facebook group for the show. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, because look, the theme of this whole show is to dare to be seen. Like, hello.
Correct. And you know, I have to be grateful for you, Devorah, because what you did for me is that I went ahead and shared my art, but you're helping me share myself. And it took a big step for me to say, I'm going to be part of InStory, to be able to share myself. And so I'm grateful for the work you're doing in helping creatives like me and storytellers and other people share themselves. We need each other.
You know, that is such a beautiful description of what I think is so important, why it means so much to me to interview people, is because there is this part of you that, what you're saying, share yourself, not just to hide behind your art.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's a thing
Right.
sometimes for artists and sometimes for writers also. But that idea that you, yourself, your soul, your story, your style is meaningful, and that your story could inspire others. Um,
It's true.
so it's true.
There's a saying in the art world. I've heard it a lot of times. It goes, well, why am I going to paint? You know, they've already painted, or why am I going to do? And I always tell people, nobody can paint like you. Nobody can create like you. You have something inside of you that is dying to come out, and it's waiting. Your soul is waiting for you to let it. So because each one of us has a different story that needs to be shared, and more so now than ever, we need to let our stories out, and we need to encourage ourselves and others to share their stories.
Oh yeah, speaking my, you know. Well, you know, that's the thing. We are here to cheer you all on, that we can't do this by ourselves. You know, when you have a supportive group around you, it helps you rebuild those inner structures that allow you to take more risk, to share. So tell us a little bit more about maybe another story of a turning point that you took a risk to share something. Like, I know you are, or maybe tell us a little bit about your book and your show and some of that stuff that is really you taking a breath and being brave to be seen.
So when I started doing my art, I started writing newsletters, and that was another step of getting out there. I was born in South America. I came to America when I was 6. I actually got past grade without knowing English, and in 3rd grade, my parents put me in Catholic school, and a nun said, no, you're not going any further. Write your words, write your words, write your words 100 times. And I did until I learned English. But I was not until my 30s that I really became aware of how the world was holographic, how everything interconnected. And so I literally lived in a bubble until then. And so when I started writing, I was clumsy. I made a lot of mistakes. I really didn't have a lot of help in anybody editing, but you know what? I wanted to say something, so I put it out there. And when I decided to write my book, I went back. I decided to start with newsletters and the stories that I told in maybe 5 years of newsletters. And I was embarrassed of all the bad grammar, but what those stories taught me something about myself. And so I decided to incorporate them in a book. At the same time, I started to explore poetry. And with the help of actually Dawn Monefusco, who is also going to be part of this summit, she helped me put those words into a book where I'm writing the story of my journey as an artist, as well as poetry that goes with the art. So this is a wonderful book that will be coming out soon, hopefully in the next few months.
Can you tell us the title?
The title of the book, it's called Uniquely Threaded.
Oh, why is it called that? I love that title.
Because it's threaded through fiber art, it's threaded through poetry, and threaded through short story. And this is all the things that have sparked from a crazy quilt class. And in my adult life. I never thought possible, but you have to start somewhere.
Right. It's really the theme, the two themes. It's finally your turn, like your time, and dare to be seen. And you are such an amazing model that, you know, that you become an incredible professional, highly acclaimed artist, and you didn't start till you're 40. So it's never too late.
Never too late.
It's never too late. So tell us a little bit about the show, the solo show that you're working on. What is the theme of it? What are you working on?
So I want to debut my my book with a solo show, and I'm still looking for the venue to where this can happen, where I will have original art pieces in this solo show depicting some of the poetry and the stories in the book. So I'm excited. You know, you could go to my website, www.souniqueart.com. That's where I will post the information once it all comes together. This is another area that I'm really thrilled in, that in the art world. When I first became an artist, when I finally decided, it was in 2007, I decided I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to accept that title, and I'm going to get myself out there. Now, I had a choice. I could do this through the art world, the fine art world, or I could do this through the quilt world. And because there are two different worlds, you know, but I decided, because I was creating art that was framed, I'm going to participate in the art world. And I joined a fine art league. It was a wonderful way to get my art out there. But what that league did for me, it gave me the opportunity to volunteer and to also learn about curating shows. And so as part of this league, I actually oversaw putting art in a senior establishment that actually wanted to host art as part of their venue to inspire creativity for seniors and their families who came to visit. So I did that for 3 years before I moved here to Illinois, where I'm presently located, and that was in North Carolina. But it opened so many doors to learn about art and to get my art out there. And so that was the other thing, is once you start creating whatever you create, you've got to get out there, and there's different venues, there's different organizations that can help you. And I'll gladly, part of my mentorship will gladly help in guiding artists to those places, because sometimes you feel lost. You know, I did it by trial and error. I really didn't have anybody to help me, and I don't want people to have to go through that. And throughout my art, throughout this 12 years of me creating art, I've actually have helped so many of my friends who have been wanting to become artists, to find those venues, and I love to help in that way.
Right. And that's super important, because the problem is that when you sit at home stuck in the spin cycle, it just gets worse. Like, that pressure builds up, and people have this with whatever form of expression is calling you. And so tell a little bit about your free gift that you're going to give them.
My free gift is a piece of my artwork, and I chose that artwork because it really represented letting light into your soul. And it comes with a creative mantra that will help you remember who you are. And also, I want to include a free introductory session so that to help you bring your art into the world.
I love that. So here's the thing. You're going to get a piece of art and you're going to get an inspirational like mantra poetry, and I want you to print them out, put them on your wall, and then I want you to make your own piece of art and your own little piece of writing and post them in our Facebook group to share them. And if you run into any trouble with this assignment, then your assignment is to book a session with Anna. Because here's the thing, she will help you get unstuck. Like if you're going through like, oh my God, my thing won't be good enough and no one's gonna like it and I don't know if I should post and libbity, libbity, libbity. So that's what we have to do for each other. And really, Anna has like a genius for helping you get unstuck and get unblocked and let that creativity out, as well as then actual support for what to do with it if you are already an artist. So no excuses. No hiding.
That's right. No excuses. This is wonderful. This is a wonderful way to help artists and beginning creatives.
Exactly. Like that's the thing. Like I'm very creative, but I'm not a visual artist. But the thing is, everybody who's watching, you are creative. Everyone
Correct.
is creative. And if it's blocked, then really, I mean, reach out to Anna. She will unblock that creativity for you, and then you'll see where it leads you. So click on the link, get the free gift, share in the Facebook group. So as we wrap up, Anna, maybe share us with the last few words of inspiration.
I think just want to say to everybody, trust yourselves, believe in yourselves, and take those steps to letting your soul share with you how beautiful you are creatively.
Oh, I love that. Let your soul share with you how beautiful you are creatively. What a great line. I think you have to like make that a quote and make a thing to go with it. That is a beautiful line. I love that. What a great way to end. Anna, thank you so much. It's inspiring to know that you're doing what you do in the world and opening that path for others.
Thank you, Deborah, for having this. Thank you for opening the door for all of us. Thank you.
It is my pleasure. And as I always say in farewell, remember everybody to go out in the world, share your story, live your purpose, and be a blessing. Bye, everybody.
Bye.